On my way to Northfield in a bit of a traffic jam. I thought I might make I'm fancy like, but after seeing the parking lot here, it's highly unlikely. I'm going to do my videos. I want to leave my opening. Obviously, we have a couple of big races. The Gold Cup trial is today, plus we have our boy. Time is on my side today, so I'll wait till tomorrow to do my opening. But thought I would run through the rest of the videos for you today. We continue to have a pretty good summer. No complaints here. Super excited about tonight and the rest of the week coming up. We have a couple of two big days in Kentucky. I'm excited about. Captain Incredible's first lifetime start is coming up. So a lot going on. Let's get to the aged horses. Brace for Landing, gave him the week off. You can see what happens, only because I think this guy's a little frail, maybe a little mentally and physically. But you can see what happens when a horse gets on a roll and then runs into a buzzsaw, right? Gets jumped from the 21 class or wherever he was racing up into the preferred, couple of follow-along trips, drops down a bit where maybe he can do, gets roughed up a tiny bit, and then just falls apart. His last start, he looked really ordinary. So what do we do in a case like this? Well, there's a lot we can do, assuming that the classes fill on a regular basis. There's lots we can do. They don't always fill like that, though, right? That's where we get in a lot of trouble. And I hear myself saying this in Ontario a lot, but it's not just Ontario. The classes in Pennsylvania and Ohio haven't filled that much. We don't see a lot of our horses not getting in at Northfield because we know what fills, right? That those non-winners of 1, 2, 3, even 4, up to 7 trots and even paces, they fill all the time. So the horses always get in for the most part. You never have to worry. But when you're dealing with the backup class trot and 3 from the top, 4 from the top in Ontario, Pennsylvania, Southern Ohio, everywhere, it's not as easy, right? I just think the industry has to be a little smarter about how it takes its entries and how it builds its condition sheets. And everybody is always flat-footed. This is a talk for my opening, which I believe I'll do. But for now, we're going to continue to talk about the aged horses. So, Brace for Landing. Just need to get this guy back on a roll. I'm just itching. I'm dying to take the hobbles off him. When I warmed him up that night, he felt like a much different horse, like he could go without them. I think his stress level would be much more easily mitigated without the hobbles on. I don't want to get into explaining that sentence. It's a loaded statement because it's different for every horse, but in this particular case with this guy, I just think if we could race him without hobbles on, he'd be a much more effective horse, but we haven't taken that step yet. Collector raced good the other day. It was a huge favorite, I know, and finished second, but again, here's a horse racing up in that non-winners of 10 class where he just kind of struggled a little bit. This is the time of year where I'm going to look to make some trades, so to speak. We're going to look to move some horses out, move some horses in that can do, I like to always say, they can make an immediate impact, whereas you have horses now, maybe Collector can do in that non-winners of 10 class, but hear me out. If Collector struggles, gets out of that non-winners of 6 struggles, we can sell him to someone else, move Brace for Landing into that non-winners of 10 50 claimer, where he goes for 62.5 for the rest of the year, which is the better part of 100 Canadian. He's a better horse than Collector. He's a stronger horse and a faster horse than Collector, and I think he can do in that class. What do we do after he gets out of the non-winners of 10? Again, that's a conversation 4 wins from now. But for right now, Brace for Landing, need to get him back on track. Collector, just need to put him back in there and let him do his work in the non-winners of 6 or 7 or whatever that class is. Save America races tonight in Prince Edward Island, so good luck to my brother and all my partners on Save America. Spitfire Overseas. So he's not turned out now. I like that they put the date on there though, but he's not turned out any longer. He's been back in for 2 weeks. Stacy said he looks great. Tactical Mounds continues to race good. Yes, she was 4th in the final, but coming off probably one of her very, very rare flat races. I thought she bounced back pretty good considering the company she was keeping. Texong Soprano is back in and going now. He looks good. All gas, no brakes. Talk about got to find the right class for the right horse. The class he's in is an optional 40 or 50. If we can put in an optional 30 tag on the class below it potentially, then that would be a great spot for him to be, I think. Greatest Ending is out. He'll be out for a little while. I said short turnout. That's fair. That's exactly what it'll be. JK Victory definitely needs a bounce back race. He has been in rough, rocky waters his last 3 or 4 starts for a number of reasons, and hopefully we can just get him back on track. Looks like money, looks like $1 million. I saw him in the barn yesterday. He looks great. Harry's got him looking good, Harry and Nellie and Bobby. Rock Shining Star races on Monday. Yes, he's not quite as handy on a half as, let's say, Save America is, but you don't win the Gold Cup on points. You win it that night in the race. And a lot of the times you get hot fractions, and a horse like him, he may not zip around the turns like a hoop around a barrel, so to speak, or like he was on rails, but make no mistake, if he's in striking position, he'll strike. He's a very, very nice horse. Serious Dragon, I suspect, will be back in to go this week. I hope he will. He's been racing very good. Yeah, he threw that one clunker in his last start, but I don't suspect there'll be any repeats from that. 3-point Blue Chip, very rare break the other night. Very rare break. I don't want to say he's never broke, but I don't think he's ever broke. I couldn't see what he did. It looked like Hunter was going to get in and then said, I'm going to keep pushing, and ended up, maybe he accelerated where he was asking him to accelerate where the horse thought he was going to retreat a little bit, and just got him flat-footed. That's possible. There certainly was no lameness issues after the race. Yo Mister, he is a little sore on that. He is a little sore on that left front. He had a little bone bruise that they diagnosed him with. Then they shock waved him. He had to give him the week off. He'll be hopefully in to go next week. Harry's going to enter when he feels he's ready. Now, if he doesn't feel he's ready, then, as I said to him, you can utilize the pool that is there, or we can bring him over here, rehab him a bit, and then he would go to the Meadows, or Scioto is a possibility for him. I don't want to have him in a place where they're going to be tripping. I know that Stacy's always lobbied hard to get Yo Mister back, but not when Spitfire and those horses are down there. And I don't want them tripping over themselves. And they run into the same thing too. The class didn't fill this week or whatnot. Happens everywhere. I just would rather have Yo Mister racing in Ontario consistently than racing, I don't want to say inconsistently, because he was always very good down in Southern Ohio, but not getting in all the time. That is the one thing that we just can't seem to get past, and it's very frustrating. The industry as a whole has the numbers, has the information it needs to keep everybody informed, and I'll talk more about this week. I've talked about it in the past. You guys have heard me rail on about it. I wrote a blog about it 2 or 3 years ago. I wrote a blog about it a decade ago. We'll talk more about it this week. Maybe. No free lunch races tonight also. He's been racing very, very good. They're going to scoop him off us one of these nights, and we'll see. If it's tonight, it's tonight. If it's not, it's not. Stay Close race good. As I said, got beat a snout. I thought he was second. In fact, I thought he was second, and I'm watching all these games. I turned it off, and I said to myself, geez, Kelly missed that video. No, she didn't. He was fourth. Fourth beat a nose for second. Kings County's going to start in Minnesota this week. I know that Nick said he liked the horse this week. We'll see how he races, so I'm excited to see him go. What a bounce back performance by Delicious Stone DK. Nothing about his performance surprised me. I know he's a nice horse. He's much better than that. Is he going to stay sound? Well, see me do that all by myself. Yeah. He is hopefully going to stay sound. If he does, he'll be supremely competitive in that optional 15 claimer. And then Patrick the Piranha raced good the other day in that monsoon. Still catching flack over that race. Was a little bumpy at times. Now, is that the flip-flops? Now we moved into a different thing where the full swedge is maybe a little bit better, a better option for him, because he did get out of gear a couple of times with those flip-flops on. So we'll see. But for right now, we're gonna stay the course with our boy Patrick the Piranha. That's all your aged racehorses. I'll be back in a minute with your 3-year-olds.